And it is a lot going on in the world of Caitlin Clark. New sponsorships to the left, new deals to the right. It's a lot going on. We are gonna get to every. Oh, that's a boss move. Oh, that's a crazy boss move. That's a flex. Hey, listen, I understand. You got Nike deals, you got freaking PGA Golf Tour, Live Golf Tour, you got hockey sponsor. I know you got a lot going on, but to turn down 15 M's.
The internet isn't overreacting. This really does feel like a sports earthquake. The biggest new star in basketball just stared down a record-shattering offer and said no. Not let me think about it. Not circle back next quarter.
No.
Caitlin Clark, the human ratings spike, shrugged at a $50 million mega proposal and kept it moving after already waving off $15 million for 10 games elsewhere. Yes, you heard that right. A league-defining number slid across the table, and
league is on welfare, okay? If they weren't on welfare, then the league would fold and there would be no women's basketball. And that is basically what has been revealed in this bombshell report about the WNBA being on track to lose roughly $50 million this year. $50 million, which is significantly more than the WNBA had been losing on a yearly basis in the past. Now, again, this is a little bit surprising because of the explosion in popularity of the WNBA due to Caitlin Clark, okay? But once we get into the details, it's not really all that surprising. But at the same time, reports like this kind of drive home the point that reasonable people have been.
She pushed it right back. That's why timelines are on fire. That's why the commissioner looks like sleep is a rumor. And that's why every agent in America just pulled a fresh legal pad out of the drawer. Here's why it matters right now. This isn't a cute rumor or a niche contract quirk. It's the center of gravity for the women's game, the broadcast deals around it, the brands circling it, and the players studying it. Clark's decision isn't just a no thanks. It's a reset button for leverage. If she can walk away from an offer that big, what does anyone think happens next with media partners, with sponsorship tiers, with how every other star negotiates? And I'm not guessing from the cheap seats. I've been tracking this saga from the college sellouts to the pros, from the early sneaker whispers to the public $15 million pitch for 10 games that she also declined. The pattern is loud. The checks aren't the center of power anymore. The audience is. Let me give you a quick roadmap so you know exactly what you're getting. First, we'll pull apart the business logic behind turning down a fortune and why, on paper, it's not crazy at all. Then we'll talk about the real power dynamic, who needs whom, and why the league's record offer looked more like insurance to the one person who doesn't need it. After that, we're stepping into the boardroom on the day the answer came back. No. We'll dissect the fan civil war that erupted, the officiating noise, the media spin cycle, and why TV networks suddenly had to check their pulse. And finally, we'll zoom out to the bigger picture, how this one decision could change the next decade of women's sports. Quick proof, I'm not selling you hype. The endorsement column for Clark is already stacked high enough to make 8-figure checks feel normal. She's not ducking money. She's choosing a different kind of money. Buckle in, start with the part that short-circuits people's brains, turning down that 10-game $15 million bag. 1.5 a night for 10 nights, and she passed. On purpose. If that number makes you gasp, good. It's supposed to. Because it's a billboard for the thing casuals keep missing. Her salary isn't where the oxygen lives. The oxygen is the brand velocity, the endorsement flywheel, the sellout machine she built by dropping logo threes and dragging cameras to wherever she laces up. Nike rolled out the velvet rope. Beverage giants want her image on fridges nationwide. Insurance companies love the clean-cut, cool under-pressure vibe she brings to a 30-second spot. That stream doesn't stop because she skipped a side league. In fact, her scarcity makes the commercials hit harder. Less grind, more glow, context because the scene change happened fast. Back in college, it felt like she was pulling up from the parking lot for fun, turning defenders into props and turning arenas into pilgrimage sites. Tickets weren't sold, they were rationed. When she crossed into the pros, those crowds followed. You could feel the shift in the building like the camera operators got new legs. That's why $50 million even became thinkable to slide across a desk. It wasn't generosity. It was a safety net. It was the league saying, this is oxygen and we'd like it bottled, please. Expectations were simple. You make the biggest offer we've ever made. The star says yes, and the press conference prints money. Reality walked in wearing number 22 and said, "I'll pass." Now, the stronger point. The real story is power, not price. One person refusing the biggest ever exposed how fragile the old hierarchy actually is. If the commissioner's office was the castle, Clark just rattled the drawbridge by reminding everyone that audiences don't live in filing cabinets. The league hoped for fireworks, confetti, maybe a signature shoe reveal on the dais. Instead, they got a case study in leverage. Because when your name alone spikes ratings, lifts ticket prices, and moves merch like a summer blockbuster, you stop negotiating like a salaried employee and start negotiating like a platform. That's the contrarian twist most people resist. This wasn't a meltdown, it was a masterclass. Picture the boardroom on decision day. Phones face down. The oversized check already printed in someone's head. And then the answer comes back. No. Not out of spite, not out of ego, out of math. Someone asks, but what about the PR? Another asks, what about the schedule? A third stares at the ceiling because they know what's coming. Memes, think pieces. The what does this mean for the league? Panels. The social team starts dumping highlight reels and hashtags into the feed like water on a grease fire. It sizzles. It doesn't solve. And the internet does what the internet does. Jokes about a commissioner realizing their entire business model might be leaning on a 22-year-old with a step back. Meanwhile, fans split like a cell dividing. One camp yells, "You owe the league that elevated you." The other camp fires back. The league didn't elevate her. She elevated the league. Before Caitlyn, too many W games were hidden behind midnight bowling reruns and the occasional Thursday night sympathy segment. After Caitlyn, you needed a plan to get into the building. The controversy about calls? The noise about physical play? The post-game quotes that sound like subtweets with rebounds? All of it bubbles because attention does what attention always does. It heats the room and exposes the cracks. Even the officiating discourse became part of the larger story. Some saw superstars getting knocked around with whistles holstered. Others saw the learning curve of a rookie season under a floodlight. And everyone saw the outrage convert into oxygen online. Keep your eye on the network angle, because that's where the quiet panic lives. Some broadcasters said yes to slates precisely because the Clark effect prints ratings. You take her out of the guaranteed mix, or even make her availability feel less certain. And the gloss on that media deal isn't as glossy. Executives won't tweet that, but the spreadsheets will. That's why the public spin ran hot. It's complicated, it's evolving. Discussions are ongoing. Translation: if a league spends months planning a promposal, it's hard to admit the answer was no, on camera, with the band already playing. Now zoom into the locker room. Don't underestimate the wake-up call this sends to other players. For years, the script for women's sports has had a paragraph about gratitude baked in. Be thankful, take the deal, say grow the game. Rinse and repeat. Clark just deleted that paragraph and replaced it with a line about leverage. That matters whether you agree with her decision or not. You can dislike the optics, roll your eyes at the memes, or question the timeline. You can't ignore the fact that she just showed a colleague blueprint. Build a community that follows you, then negotiate from the center of that community, not from the edge of a desk. The economics backdrop makes the stakes even louder. Reports have the league on track to lose roughly $50 million this year. Bigger losses than the usual and especially jarring after the attention spike she delivered. That's the paradox. The product is hotter than ever, but the P/L still looks like a hill to climb. That's why the $50 million number made symbolic sense. It wasn't about setting a wage precedent, it was about strapping a booster rocket to the one person who reliably moves the needle. And yet, if your endorsements already stack to more than that across a few cycles, if you can make multiples by being selective, then the rocket looks less necessary. More spotlight is not always more value. Sometimes, the value is in saying no and letting the internet do the rest. Of course, the takes turned into a bonfire. Some pundits tried to paint her decline as arrogance. Others tried to make it a culture war proxy. The truth is simpler and more uncomfortable. The math finally favors the athlete who is the audience. That's not a knock on anyone else in the league. It's a recognition that attention is uneven, and modern sports monetize attention more than anything. When a single player tilts ratings by millions, you can either get angry at gravity or learn orbital mechanics. She chose physics. Even the 10-game $15 million pass had another layer people whispered about: timing and safety. Imagine accepting that before your rookie season finds its rhythm, with cameras on you like lasers and veterans eager to test your chest. The payout is juicy. The target on your back becomes a heat-seeking missile. There's a world where declining wasn't just better business, it was better body management. Play the long game. Keep the calendar clean. Protect the prime seasons.